even when trying other religions, I've found that Christian Science was what really helped me to understand my relationship to God so clearly.
Hello and welcome to interview number 22 of Whatever. And tonight we have another special guest, a dear friend, Richard Horner. Richard, how are you tonight?
Fine, happy to be with you, Paul. Thank you for inviting me.
And thank you for being with us. So, Richard, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and then at age 19, I went to Boston.
Awesome. And how long were you in Boston?
2.5 years.
And then you came west after that?
I did. I came to Los Angeles, to Pasadena, California, actually.
And so right now you're still living in Orange County, right?
I moved 6 years ago down here to the Willows in Laguna Hills, California, and about an hour south of Los Angeles. And I love it down here. Yeah.
So Richard, what do you do?
I'm a Christian Science nurse.
You know, you're like the 5th Christian Science nurse that we've had on here, and I'll tell you the same thing I told them. You guys are the unsung heroes of our movement. Everything that you do is selfless and loving, and really grateful for that. And I know our subscribers are too. So thank you.
Yes. Thank you for saying so. It's an honor to be a Christian Science nurse.
So Richard, did you grow up in a Sunday school, or did you come to science later in life?
Well, I grew up in Christian Science. My grandmother was a Christian Scientist. My parents were Christian Scientists, and of course I am. So we've always had it in our family.
That's awesome. Yeah, we've had a few people who are 3rd or 4th generation scientists, and we know just going to a Christian Science Sunday school doesn't necessarily make you, or be a student of Christian Science. So how did you make Christian Science your own?
I have always relied on it my entire life, and even as a little kid, had wonderful demonstrations. Used to give testimonies as a little kid on Wednesday nights at church, and my parents and my grandmother helped encourage studying and practicing Christian Science. And even when trying other religions, I've found that Christian Science was what really helped me to understand my relationship to God so clearly.
That's awesome. Hey, so I know there were some healings before you were around with your. Can you tell us about your mom's healing of polio?
Yes, my mother, as a girl of about 12, was healed of polio. My grandmother had healings as a young woman in Christian Science. And when she walked into a Christian Science reading room in Chicago and found Christian Science, and then, of course, practiced it with my mother. And my mother grew up in Second Church, Chicago, Illinois, Sunday school, which still is there, the same church. And so it's always been a part of our lives and our family. My dad had dramatic healings of finding Christian Science in 1946 in Grand Rapids, Michigan, when he was smoking 3 packs of cigarettes a day and drinking, and right after our parents were married. And he instantly was healed of both smoking cigarettes and tobacco and alcohol use, and became an ardent Christian Scientist.
That's awesome.
Rest of his life. Yes.
So you've seen a lot of healings. You've had a lot of history.
Yes.
So I kind of get the inclination to the answer to this question, but why are you a Christian Scientist then, Richard?
Because I've tried it, and it works.
Simple as that.
I put it into practice, yeah, and it heals. And so It's what's always worked in my life. It's how I best understand my relationship to God.
That's awesome. Okay, now this come to my favorite part of the interview. What is your whatever? What do you love to do that inspires you?
Well, I love to do the nursing work that I do because it brings so much joy to those that I help, and I like to make it a joyful experience.
So helping others then is your whatever.
Yes, it is. That's right.
And
And
why do you love it?
I love Christian Science because it helps me to understand my relationship to God the best. And
I'm sorry. And why do you love helping others then?
I love helping others because it brings them such satisfaction. So it brings them uplift, it brings them healing. Um, it gives them a sense of peace. And I love being able to be in that position. This is what God has called me to do. And that's why it gives me such joy and peace to be able to share Christian Science nursing with those who need it.
And how have you grown spiritually because of it?
It certainly has brought me a clearer knowledge of being able to listen to God for his voice and his direction. And that's what I love the most, is being able to turn to God and get the assurance and get the answers that I need.
That is so awesome, Richard. So do you have any other healings you'd like to share with us? Surrounding your helping other people?
Well, I've seen several wonderful healings in my Christian Science nursing. I remember one man that I took care of years ago, and he would be, when he couldn't sleep, he'd be up in the night studying, having the books open, sitting up in a chair studying, and I knew that man was hungry for the answers and for the truth. And he had a lovely healing. I really appreciated witnessing that man's healing.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah.
Well, this has
So,
been a wonderful interview. You've hit a home run. Is there anything before I let you go, anything you'd like to share with our subscribers?
well, I certainly am grateful and love to live here at the Willows, and I can highly recommend it for any senior Christian Scientist. It's a wonderful place to live.
Okay, a little plug for the Willows. Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for your time. You are awesome. I'm very appreciative
Thank,
of the work that you do, the love that you express, the selflessness that you bring to your daily life. And I look forward to seeing you soon.
thank you. And it's an honor to be with you tonight, Paul. Thanks so much.